I'm recording this healing session as we are entering the Libra Equinox Gateway. This equinox is predicted to be a leap in light level. This session will support us to integrate this new light into our hearts and the crystalline structure of the body. It will also activate the third eye chakra that supports us to bring light into our bodies and gets us in touch with our intuition and our truth. This is the 6th session in my 7-part free chakra activation series, so please do subscribe to my YouTube channel to receive the full series. During this healing session, I will invite you to hold areas of the body to help bring oxygenated blood and awareness to the area of focus. So I invite you to get into a comfortable position, either sitting, reclining, or lying down. And let's start by taking 3 nice deep breaths into the belly. Nice, deep, expansive breaths into the front, the sides, the back of the belly. Breathing in, belly rising. Breathing out, belly falling. And with every out breath, an invitation to release, relax, and let go. Letting go of any tension. You don't need to hold any tension anywhere in your body, really giving yourself permission to let go. Relaxing the forehead, eyelids, jaw, neck, shoulders, and letting the relaxation flow down through your whole body. With every out breath, seeking deeper and deeper into relaxation. And then just taking a couple of nice deep breaths, breathing out through the mouth, consciously relieving any surface tension, any stress, any emotion, anything that's ready to shift in this now moment, breathing it out. And I'm going to start tuning into this group of listeners. So I'm working to find the most powerful healing for anybody listening to this now or in a future timeline. And as I'm tuning in, we're connecting into the brow chakra, the third eye chakra. So if it's comfortable to do so, you can just place your hand over the third eye, particularly if you're lying down, just placing the hand across the forehead, connecting into the third eye chakra. And what is coming up is light. So working with this ability of the third eye chakra, it's a higher chakra, and its ability to bring light into the body mind. We're also working with self-awareness and also discernment, as this equinox is a real choice point. And what I'm getting, it's that making the choice to take the higher timeline of connecting in with this new light that's coming into the planet. The next thing that's coming up is the heart chakra. So you can just place your hand over your heart center to connect in with your heart. And the heart chakra is the great balancer of the chakra system. It balances the lower chakras and the upper chakras. So it can act as an anchor point. And that's my sense, is that it's helping, supporting us to anchor in this light. And the consciousness that's coming up for the heart chakra is being present. So just holding over those 2 areas, and I'm just going to start the energy balancing. So taking a couple of nice deep breaths. Firstly, balancing that third eye chakra and its ability to bring in light. Balancing on all levels, body, mind, spirit, self-awareness, and discernment. And then anchoring this into the heart chakra so that we can bring in all the light into all the cells of the body via the heart chakra, but also via being present, being in our bodies. enables this download. So that part is complete, so you can relax your hands. The next thing that I'm picking up, we are looking at the sun. And my understanding is that a lot of this light, these frequencies that are coming in at this time, are coming from the sun. And so we're going to work with those light frequencies from the sun, but we're also going to look at the inner archetype of the sun and what that means. So how we represent and embody the sun. And what is coming up is destiny. So this real sense of these light codes helping, supporting us to come on our path, putting us on our path more strongly than ever before. And also leadership is coming up. So, you know, for each of us, that might look different, but this really stepping into and stepping up in our destiny is the sense that I'm getting by utilizing the energy of the sun and the light frequencies. We're then connecting that into the mesentery, which is the lining that holds all the intestines in place. And anything to do with the digestive system and the intestines is going to relate to processing. So the mesentery has a consciousness of processing, and this is going to help us process all these new light frequencies that we're receiving, particularly with the support of this session. Because what can happen is that when we have these shifts, you know, we can tend to sometimes find them difficult to integrate. But this, by bringing in the mesentery, it's going to support that integration, that processing, so that we can move smoothly through this kind of raise in vibration, as it were. So just placing the hand over the belly button, if it's comfortable to do so, to just help anchor in the light codes with the support of the mesentery. So it's a few nice deep breaths. I'm balancing this now. We're getting some real downloads from the sun. So just being open to transformation and healing, receiving light frequencies from the sun. You might even want to go outside after doing this healing session and actually receive those light codes directly from the sun. Really putting on us on our path of destiny and leadership, and then connecting into the mesentery to support the processing. That is complete, so you can relax your hands. The next thing that's coming up when I tune into the group is the relationship between the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. And for healthy integration, it's really, really great if we can become whole brain. So this is also going to help with the integration. But the left hemisphere of the brain is much more to do with the logic, the analytical, and it relates to the masculine. And the right hemisphere of the brain is much more to do with the feminine and relates to intuitive. And this is what's coming up, to balance that relationship between the intuitive and the analytical. Perhaps some of us has lived much more in the analytical. We've lived in a very masculine world. And certainly the shift in consciousness that we're going through, it's bringing us more into our hearts, which is more the feminine energy, and also into the intuitive, so that we can come into our own sovereignty and follow our own guidance. So this is what we're working with here, creating that balance between the intuitive and the analytical. And for each of us, that will look slightly different. For some people, it may be that we need to bring in more intuition. For some people, more analyzing, in order for there to be more balance within the brain. We're then also linking that into to the brow chakra, into the third eye chakra, again, to anchor in more light. So it may well be that we're also bringing more light into the hemispheres of the brain to perhaps encourage this kind of functioning, increased functioning of the brain. We're then connecting into an external energy, and it's something that we want to disassociate from. So the external energy is much more to do with what's going on in the collective consciousness at this time as we go through these huge transitions on the planet. And there's a lot of density, there's a lot of chaos, you know, because a lot of people don't really understand what's going on. And there's also a lot of fear. And we don't really want to be connecting into this energy. We want to be connecting into the higher octave, into the light. So we're going to work to really connect the brain and the nervous system into this light and disassociate all this fear, density, and chaos. So if it's comfortable to do so, you can just hold your hands over either sides of the head, connecting with the two hemispheres of the brain. And I'm just going to hold the kind of group third eye chakra, as it were. And some nice deep breaths. And just balancing the brain. This can help to reduce stress as well. Support relaxation. Really balancing that relationship between the masculine, feminine mind, the intuitive and the analytical, so that it comes into a healthy balance for you. And then connecting this into the brow chakra light. So you might start to feel a lot of light coming into the third eye and then the whole brain. And from there, it can really filter into the whole body mind. Through allowing it into the brow chakra and also the pineal pituitary area of the brain also. And then we're just disassociating this energy of collective consciousness, of density, chaos, and fear. So really consciously breathe this out, let this go. If you've kind of connected into any of this fear, this density, this chaos, just breathing it out, letting it go, knowing that this is not serving you at this time, that we want to be connecting into the light. That is complete. So you can relax your hands. And the next thing that I'm tuning into, we're going to do some more work on the brain, the masculine and feminine brain, left and right hemisphere balance. But this time we're looking at the relationship between giving and receiving. So again, there's been much more emphasis on the masculine, which is around giving, and the feminine is much more about receiving. So even to be able to anchor in these new light codes, we need to be able to kind of receive. You know, if we're all about giving, then we're not going to fully be able to receive this new light. So we need to balance the consciousness of giving and receiving. So it again becomes healthy for each individual. So it might look different for each of us. Again, we're anchoring that in via the brow chakra. We're connecting in with the brow chakra, the third eye chakra. And this is a higher chakra. It's much more connected to the divine, the spirit, whereas the lower chakras are much more worldly. And what is coming in is seeing truth. So really balancing that relationship between giving and receiving and aligning that with seeing truth. And then what's really interesting is what's coming up is the sacral chakra. So from a chakra point of view, the brow chakra and the sacral chakra are considered chakra pairs. So the base chakra and the crown chakra are pairs, and the brow and the sacral. So by balancing these two together, it helps to really strengthen that relationship, and it brings more synchronicity because we're balancing the two together. So what is coming up is selfishness. So we need to balance this, and it's interesting it's coming up in this relationship between giving and receiving, and also seeing truth. And we're needing to bring in more acceptance. So the sacral chakra can tend to hold a lot of trauma. So it's bringing in acceptance and balancing out any kind of selfishness. So that's the whole picture. So I'll get you to hold one hand over the third eye chakra, the other hand over the sacral chakra just below the navel, and some nice deep breaths. We're just balancing the relationship between the two hemispheres of the brain, balancing the consciousness of giving and receiving. So really allowing yourself to receive the light codes, receive this new energy, receive nourishment, really. That's what this consciousness is about. And then connecting that into the brow chakra, seeing truth. As soon as we start to connect into the light, we start to see the truth. We're rising above all the chaos, all the distraction, all the disruption, and connecting in with the light and love of who we really are. And then we're connecting this into the sacral chakra to balance out any selfishness. You know, perhaps when we've been in survival mode, we've been having to really think about what we need to do that. It's almost like we can start to step out of that now, knowing that we're on our path of light. And so taking that higher timeline and bringing a lot of acceptance into that sacral area, self-acceptance, acceptance of all that is. Really breathing into that. And that is complete. So you can relax your hands. The next thing that's coming up is the pituitary, which is an endocrine gland that's very much linked in with the third eye chakra. And it really helps to regulate the whole endocrine system. So by balancing the pituitary, we're balancing our emotions, our mood, as well as all the hormonal kind of things that are going on that the pituitary regulates. So we're looking at overwhelm. So, you know, there's a lot going on. So we're working to really shift any overwhelm so that the pituitary can function in a healthy way. And we're working with the consciousness of nourishment to really bring that into the pituitary so that can be really filtered through the whole endocrine system. And also intuition. So it's really, again, aligning us with our own guidance system, bringing that self-responsibility within so that we look to ourselves for answers rather than looking to authority or outside of ourselves to know what is true for us. We're then needing to disassociate an inherited influence. It's like an inherited memory. Some might like to call it a past life memory. And it's inherited from the collective consciousness. And it's actually a vow of obedience. So perhaps in a past life or, you know, in an inherited situation. So it may well have been brought down through the ancestral line, potentially as well for some of us. There's this kind of vow of obedience. And you know, we all know that as children, you know, this sense of needing to, you know, be obedient, to follow the authority that's outside of ourselves. And we're letting go of this vow of obedience so that we can really come into our own sovereignty, our own intuition. So we're just clearing that and disassociating that, knowing it's not serving us anymore. It's not who we are. And with this, there's a belief. And, you know, for each of you, you might experience it slightly differently. The wording might be slightly different, but the gist of the belief is, I don't have the right to exist. And this seems to be very much linked into this inherited influence of obedience, you know, of this sense of not having a right to kind of really be strong, be sovereign. So we need to, as we disassociate this vow, we also need to let go of this belief. So if it's comfortable to do so, hand over the pituitary, which again is that third eye, brow area, and some nice deep breaths. And just really bringing that pituitary into healthy balance on all levels, body, mind, spirit, clearing out any overwhelm, and really bringing in the consciousness of nourishment and also intuition, being sovereign. And just starting to disassociate this vow of obedience. Take a couple of nice deep breaths, breathing out, commanding that this vow of obedience is cleared as it's no longer serving. Clearing it through all times and all dimensions. And then a couple of nice deep breaths, letting go of the belief, I don't have the right to exist. Really breathing that out, knowing that that's not who you are. It's not serving you, and you can let this go now. There seems to be some emotion associated with that. So just allowing that to move through as well as we let go of this belief, knowing that it's come from another time that we inherited this, and it may have been kind of reinstated during childhood, but we don't need to hold on to it any longer. So that is the end of the healing session. I hope that you've benefited from the session. Do listen out for the other chakra series. And please do reach out. My name is Sarah Chave. Do reach out if you would like a private healing session with me, if any of this resonated with you. I am also running an online class starting on the 27th of September, Wednesday the 27th, 7:30 p.m. UK time, called Awakening the Divine Feminine. And I will put the link to register for that class in the description and comments. So do have a look out for that also. Many blessings. Thank you for listening.